Things seem anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but there is not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say it except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us now, there is nothing, we are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join 𝐴̀ᴇᴜ as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial mainland 98.3 FM. We'll welcome you roommates as we discuss the situations.
A very good evening to you. Welcome to the Situation Room live on mainland 98.3 FM. I want to believe your day has been going well, so good. Well, mine had been super engaging, and of course, you know, today is the 5th day of November 2024. And what that means is election day in the United States. It has started off since about 2 weeks now. As at yesterday night, and when I checked, over 120 million votes had been, recorded already in the ongoing election. But today is the D-Day, and the entire world is gathered watching. You'll probably be wondering, oh, what has the U.S. election got to do with Nigeria? But I'm sure remember last week Tuesday, I had Dr. Goke Shobowale join me all the way from Maryland, United States, to discuss the elections, issues that have dominated the conversation, issues of immigration rather, issues of tax, issues of medical issues, same-sex marriage, border control. These were some of the things that my guest last week Tuesday highlighted in the course of our conversation. He told me that he's a 7 election cycle Republican. That means he's been a Republican for the past 7 elections since he got into the US. But this time around, he's not going to vote for the former president of the United States, the Republican candidate, that's Donald Trump. He says that, when he voted for him the last time, he didn't have political history. Now he has a political history that he's not exactly proud of, even as a Republican. But we've monitored polls, we've seen the numbers, we've seen even the way the election is coming in. And for those of us that are doing this job, it's a different conversation when you see how election coverage and monitoring is being done. There are media houses that their biases and their loyalty is known already. The coverage of the election is certainly tilting towards their preferred candidate. There's been a lot of newspapers, world-known newspapers that are usually, endorse candidate. This time around, they've decided not to endorse any candidate. It's probably going to be one of the most keenly contested election we've seen in the history of the United States. And remember, in 2016, former First Lady, that's Hillary Clinton, actually won the public vote, but Donald Trump got the 270. That's the Electoral College. And I mean, it's a different kind of democracy, you know, because I feel democracy is about equality, but the United States says, you know what? In every classless society, there is always a class. So there are weighted votes, there are votes that are more than other votes. So it's a different issue, but we're covering all of that as well. Hopefully, by the time we're back here tomorrow for, midweek politics by 1 to 3 p.m., we'll have numbers, to state election. But, I mean, you know that the seat of power, according to my guest last week, Tuesday, he said the Oval, that's the seat of power in the United States, is the most powerful seat of power or seat of any president whatsoever in the world. So once the United States are going to the polls, the entire world is watching. The people in the Middle East are watching. The people in Ukraine and Russia are watching as well, because of the role that United States plays in world politics, world economies, even Nigeria as well. The observers, already going there, just to say I worked. I hope we copy the right things. I hope we choose to focus on things that would also help our election to get better. I mean, we really need to do more. Yes, the United States, democracy is over 200 years old. It's almost like the model in the world. But it's not like their own election is perfect as well. But hey, we also need to get better as a people, so that we don't copy the wrong model, or more importantly, we don't use the wrong things to gauge the right things. Well, talking about election, 16th of November is the gubernatorial election 23. Precisely on the 11th of November, we have 3 states having their off-cycle elections on the same day: Imo, Kogi, and Bayelsa. This time around, Edo State had his own on the 26th of September, and on those days will be going to the polls on the 16th of September. That should be about 11 days or thereabout from today. And we started that series. The same thing we did for the last year's election, the same thing we did for Edo election. We reach out to everyone that is directly involved one way or the other in these off-cycle elections. The candidate of the parties themselves, the spokespersons of the candidates, their running mates, the party chieftains. We reach out to all of these people to come talk to us about what their principal, the candidates, have for the people of the state. Hey, God willing, God sparing our lives, the same way we covered the election in Edo State right from Benin City. We'll also be in Ondo State to give you everything you need to know about that election. But talking about that, remember last week we had the gubernatorial candidate of the YPP, that's the Young Progressive Party in the state. Yesterday, it was the turn of the All Progressive Congress as the senior special advisor to Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa on strategic communication. Comrade Allen Shuwere was my guest on the show from 4 to 5 p.m. And while the conversation was going on, the secretary of the main opposition party in the state, the PDP, joined the conversation, and it kind of refuted the chance to also talk to us about what their plans are in our business of spreading the message and giving everybody a level playing ground. So Mr. Iḻyɪ Jábọ̀ joins me on the show today. Is the People's Democratic Party on those states director of media and publicity, of course, and that means he's probably the most qualified person to talk to us about the campaign journey of the former deputy governor of the state and now the People's Democratic Party gubernatorial candidate, Mr. Agbola Ajayi. Well, good to have you join us on the show today, Mr. Iḻyɪ Jábọ̀. It's my pleasure to have you make your debut in the Situation Room live in Lagos.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you for having me here.
Okay. Well, it's been a very interesting conversation yesterday. Like I said, when we spoke earlier today, Comrade Allen Shuwere was on the show, and a lot of numbers and figures and claims were thrown around yesterday, and the secretary of your party, that's Barrister Olusegun, was monitoring the show, and he called in, and then he was really furious with the candidate, with the spokesman of the APC, for bringing out, he claimed that some of the numbers and the figures and the claims of Comrade Allen Shuwere were not exactly true. So I said, you know what, I'll reach out to you and I'll have you join us. So let's get into it, and I'll flip the page the same way it was yesterday. 18-0. That is the claim of the APC, that your party does not stand a chance in this election. Talk to us about how the PDP has been playing, the role of the opposition in the state since it left power. I mean, almost 8 years now that former Governor Mimiko has left office. It's been the APC. Talk to us about how the PDP has been playing its role as the major opposition party in Ondo State.
Thank you very much for having me once again. And let me also say that I'm not the most qualified person to tell you what's going on in the party, but at least I'm one of the spokespersons that can make things open to all of us.
Okay, let's get it on.
Yeah, what the APC believes in is what they believe in the area of opposition